What's up, guys? Gilligan here today, and I've got for you sort of a new thing that I wanted to try out to do, and it's going to be a series called How I Use. And in this series, I was basically, how it sounds, I was going to tell you how I use certain weapons, certain perks, certain guns, so on and so on. So for my first episode, I decided to start with the first SMG, the MP7. So here is how I use the MP7. With the MP7, I only use two attachments on it. I use the silencer and the fast mags. Now the reason I use these two attachments is because I like to flank, I like to run around the sides. I like to be very, very quiet with my weapon because I like it when they don't know where I'm coming from, I guess. It's very sneaky, and I like to be sneaky. Now with the fast mag, I like to use this because it's a very fast firing weapon, and I mean, you do have 40 rounds in a clip, but it does go by quick, and the faster you can reload your weapon, the faster you'll be able to, fire at your next opponent. And I do get into a couple situations where I need to reload very, very quick, and it comes in very good handy, especially when you're flanking around and you got multiple enemies that you're trying to shoot at. So that is why I use those two attachments on that gun. Now for my perks, I use Ghost, and the reason I use Ghost is because I'm flanking a lot, and I like to be hidden from the radar and to be very, very sneaky, like I said, with this, especially with this class that I use. And then my second perk, which you will see a lot of, is Scavenger, because that is probably my I just love re-scavenging all these lethal grenades and these tactical grenades, and I hate running out of ammo. That's it's worst. So I don't like to pick up enemy weapons. I just like to use what I'm using. So that's why I use Scavenger, and you will see that a lot in all my how I use episodes. And then my other perks, I actually use two of them. I use Dexterity and Tactical Mask. Now, I use Dexterity because I'm rushing around a lot, trying to get behind the enemies, trying to get to the side of the enemies, and I like to have that weapon just pull up super fast. And then I also like to climb a lot when I'm using these SMGs. So I like the quicker climb. It just comes in very, very good handy. And then Tactical Mask I use because I don't like to get stunned or flashbanged very much. And then, those shock charges, I don't think anybody really enjoys doing, having that done to them. So I throw that on there because it basically eliminates that problem for you. So definitely use Tactical Mask on this rushing sort of class setup. And then my equipment that I'm using for my lethal, I'm using the C4. That's because when you're running around and you get behind enemies, if there's like 4 of them or 3 of them in a room, you can just toss that little sucker in there and just blow the crap out of them. Here's an example of that fast mag. Very, very helpful. Very, very helpful. And then my tactical is the concussion, just because I love, throwing that concussion grenade and having them slow down. Just it's way better than, and I just prefer the concussion over anything. You'll see me use that a lot more than any other tactical grenade, if you will. So, and then my wild card is the Perk 3 greed, because I'm using, 2 perks for my Perk 3. And, I mean, that's basically my class setup for the MP7. And then for my score streaks, when I'm running this class, I tend to die a lot more often than I do with any other classes, and that's just because of my play style with this, by running around. You'll see me, I'm stayed to the outskirts a lot, but when pressure is put on in the middle, I will run into the middle, and that's where I die a lot. So that's why I keep it sort of low-ish. And my score streaks that I'm using are Lightning Strike, the Wally, or the A.G.R, I just call it Wally. That's personal preference. And then the Brobird, which is also the Orbital VSAT. That's just what I call it, personal preference. You don't have to. I'd prefer if you did. Just way easier to say. That's basically it. Like I said, the way that I use this gun is just flank. Just flank and rush. You're running very fast with this gun, and if you can get around the enemies and flank them, you'll be able to get those 2 or 3 pieces that you need to help out. So, I mean, that's it for you guys. Short episode. Let me know if you liked it. Let me know if you didn't like it. I plan to do this with all the guns, so just come back for more. All right. Thanks, guys. See ya.